Hi, my name is Dr. Michelle Maidenberg. I'm here talking to my husband Eric, and we're going to be talking a little bit about, how he's been managing through the coronavirus. I actually work remotely with my patients, so I'm preoccupied the entire day, and Eric actually carries the fort with the kids and just organizing everything. So, a little bit of a transition and role reversal in some respects. So, wanted to talk a little bit about how he's managing things, and then we'll get a little bit of feedback from maybe one of the kids if they volunteer to come in and chime in. Okay, so Eric, we spoke last week about some of the challenges that come up. You mentioned like big stops. For example, when somebody needs something copied. Which is kind of simplistic, but since everybody's home all day, has anything changed in terms of, let's say, the boundaries, even amongst the siblings, like managing them?
So thanks. I think, look, in general, we're all finding that being home creates a situation where all boundaries, to be honest, are questioned right now. Kids are in and out of class, they come down, they want to get something to eat. If I'm sitting there on a conference call, they might just come over and want to have a conversation, and I have to kind of shoo them off without really, making any comments about it, and sometimes they don't necessarily get the body language. I think the boundary stuff is probably the hardest thing to manage, I think. Just in part because there seems to be no perfect alignment of who's doing what and when. If they're in class, great, there's quiet time. If they're out of class, then it's, all bets are off in a sense.
Yeah, and I know you also talked about even taking out more of the house chores, just even like cooking and organizing.
So it's interesting. It's interesting that you mentioned that, because for me personally, I'm finding things like cooking, which I always, years and years ago, I used to enjoy doing, and probably the last 2 decades probably had, very little time to do, given, the fact that we're a big family, 4 kids, 3 dogs. But it's something that I'm actually spending more time doing, and I find that it's actually quiet time, and it's a time that gives me a chance to reflect and find a little bit of space, typically because no one else likes to help, except for maybe one kid at a time. I would also say that I'm finding.
Do you get the kids to help?
I try where I can, and sometimes they're helpful. Sometimes they want to go play video games, so it really kind of depends on the day and the mood. But what it's also doing for me is, I guess on the positive sides, it's allowing me to be a lot more structured, and I have to think through my schedule much more conscientiously every day. And so I find time for that. I know when I need to get my work done, and then I even started taking up exercise again, which has been a fleeting thing, because in the ordinary course of a day, traveling to and from the city and other things get in the way of that. Here, I find myself being able to finish the day and go off and even exercise before night.
Okay, so we're going to invite Foster in. So Foster is our second son, right? And I was wondering about kind of the siblings, how things, like you're spending an inordinate amount of times with your siblings, which you wouldn't ordinarily do, right? And also missing and wanting to be with your friends. So how has that been for you?
It's been hard not being able to be with my friends, but I have been able to make a better connection with my siblings and hang out with them a lot more, since I have a lot more free time.
Okay, and have you found that you've connected with them more, or like are you finding like you're getting like irritable by being stir crazy, and then like feel like arguing more? Like what do you think has been happening, evolving?
I think a little bit of both. I think that we have been able to create a stronger relationship, but at the same time we're siblings, so we always argue as well.
Okay. And how's it been? Like now we're going on, I think, over a month, right? This has been going on, and we know it's at least another month. So how are you doing? How are you feeling about because last week, I know when I was talking to a lot of my patients, they were having a really, especially, teens and young adults, they were having a really hard time because we just got the word that there's going to be another month, and a lot of them were so disappointed and frustrated. So how have you been dealing with that?
Luckily, I'm not a senior, so I don't miss graduation and all of that. But I am a little bit disappointed that I'll not be able to be in school environment for another month, and probably the rest of the year. But I mean, it's okay, I guess. I'm not really sure.
You're not really sure. What has been the hardest part of this for you?
Not being in school and being with my friends.
Okay. And you feel like you're managing it pretty well? Hi, Kelly's coming to say hello. You feel like you're managing it pretty well?
I think so.
Yeah? Okay. Is there any advice that you could give to anybody about like kids your age that are having maybe a hard time and not adjusting as well as you are? You know, that you might share with them?
I would say take advantage of the freedom that you have.
Okay. So how could they do that? What ways?
Maybe by taking on a hobby or
Okay.
exercising.
Okay. And for you, like for parents who are taking on kind of predominantly the role of caretaker, etc., right, and being with their kids 24/7, is there any advice that you could give, that you could share?
I would say that it seemed at first that you didn't have to spend too much time on the front end, you know, laying down rules and sort of lines of demarcation when it comes to, as we said earlier, boundaries. I think it's kind of at a point where, you know, work is continuing, thankfully. It's busy, and it's important that, you know, the kids understand and know that there are times when it's appropriate to engage, and other times where they know they just have to wait until you know, there's time that's outside of work hours.
Yeah, and I'm also going to say there's a lot of parents out there that I know of that actually have lost their jobs. So there are a lot of people that are really, you know, in pain, suffering, obviously very anxious. The economy is not doing too well. We're kind of tanking here, and I know that's a big concern for a lot of families as well. So, you know, for those of you in that position, you know, obviously it's a little bit of a different situation, and you know, our hearts go out, of course. And I know for myself, some of my patients who approach me that have that happening, I've given them, like, you know, obviously leeway to, you know, pay me once they get a job in the future, or give them like a substantial sliding scale. So I'm just going to also say to practitioners and to others, helpers out there, to really give some accommodations, because there are people that are, you know, unfortunately in very hard circumstances. Okay, have a great rest of your weekend, and again, hope your families are safe and healthy.